Fuzz and I have been together for 9 years, and we're 26 years old.
Cat's out of the bag.
Since we were like 17. And when we first started going out, I was starting a technology. Well, it was just an idea that because the IT bubble and everything was going on, actually took off, and we made some money at it because the company actually made money in a world where people were buying up things that weren't making money just based on the dream. And anyway, Canlon was a bit, which it never even ended up getting publicly called, but that's what we called it originally. It was a business-to-business travel services company that acted as an intermediary between big corporations and corporate travel agencies and independent chauffeured limousine services around the world. Then for various reasons, we got out of that and made a little bit of money. 2 years later, when we were 19 years old, I took the better part of the next year and I sailed around the world because I knew I wanted to be in business, but I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I wanted to be passionate about it. And I wasn't passionate about that. And I figured, okay, this is great. I've proven to myself that I can do it. It works. I've got a little bit of flexibility right now to figure out what it is I want to do. And at this point, having had the success we had early, nobody's fault but our own if we're not happy with the way things turn out. So make sure to make the right choice. And I went and sailed for a year and then came back, studied finance and marketing, hated it, dropped out, and happened to see Richard Branson on a TV screen after he'd crashed his hot air balloon in the middle of the North Atlantic. I don't know if it was live or not, but giving an interview on CNN. And I'd read his biography when I was sailing, and I just thought at that moment, why not the music business? So music business it is. I didn't know anything about the music business though. So figured I got to gain some experience. Don't want to work for a major label because they'll pigeonhole you. And Donald K. Donald was the biggest independent music company in Canada. So I went and I sat in their reception for 2 days till Donald agreed to see me. And he gave me a job as an unpaid intern. And that was in April.
Although he thought you wanted a record deal at first.
Yeah, he's like, what have you been in my lobby for 2 days? You want a record deal? You're in a rock band? I'm like, no, I want a job. And he goes, oh, well, we're not hiring. I said, I'll work for free. He goes, okay, you start Monday. And that was in April 2000, and just worked my way up from there to become the president of the English division on the record side first, and then the whole company. So yeah, essentially it got to the point where after I was at DKD and had come back from sailing, she was studying in Boston, had come home and hated what she was doing, first of all, and second of all, we weren't seeing each other at all, ever.
Sorry,
because I was working like a madman, and she was working, we had different schedules. And we got to the point where it was sort of like, either it's work, it's a relationship, or we take a gamble and bring the relationship to work, which is what we did. And she started off also, not as an intern, but working as a low-level employee in like the radio promotion publicity department, and worked her way up to running that as I came up in the company as well. And we were effectively running it for a little while, and we had some financial resources from the past, from that technology play, and had made some money, really good salaries and a percentage of the profits and a percentage of the company in the Donald K. Donald Group while we were there. And we got into a negotiation with Donald at one point, who had no kids, and he wanted to sell the company. He wanted us to take it over. And we couldn't ultimately come to a deal, not because he wasn't offering a great deal, but it's because conceptually I got to the point, and we talked about it, we realized where there was a lot of culture in this company. It was going to be really hard to change it into something that was in our own image. And, basically we just realized that we didn't want to live or come up through ultimately the shadow and the legacy of Donald K. Donald. We wanted to do things our own way and do it on our own. And that just led to the conclusion that we wanted to start our own thing, and it went from there. It morphed. It was going to be a joint venture with DKD at first, where we would really scale back our involvement in the day-to-day and focus on this new company. But then because of government funding restrictions and things like that, he couldn't be a shareholder. And ultimately, over a series of machinations, it just sort of ended up that we were doing this on our own.